Welcome everyone to a journey of understanding and transformation. Today, we explore a powerful concept that has the potential to reshape our world for the better: ego death. What is ego, you might ask? It's that internal narrative that shapes our identity, influences our decisions, and sometimes leads us down a path of conflict and discord. In this video, we will delve into the depths of ego and explore how letting it go, experiencing ego death, can be the key to saving our world. First things first, let's get a clear understanding of what we mean by ego death. Ego death is not a physical demise, but a profound psychological experience where one's sense of self dissolves. It's about letting go of the ego-driven desires, prejudices, and the constant need to assert ourselves. This goes beyond personal transformation. It's a concept that holds the power to impact societies and the planet as a whole. As we unravel the layers of ego death, we will discover its significance and its potential to create positive change on a global scale. Join us as we start on this exploration, a journey that might just hold the key to a brighter, more harmonious future for us all. Now that we have a grasp on what ego death entails, let's search into the darker side of the ego. The ego, when left unchecked, can be a driving force behind conflicts, inequality, and environmental degradation. Think about it. Personal desires, the need for validation, and the constant pursuit of superiority can create a toxic mix. This not only affects our individual lives, but has a ripple effect, influencing societal structures and perpetuating cycles of strife and discord. Throughout history, we've witnessed instances where unchecked egos led to wars, social injustice, and environmental neglect. Consider the impact of egotistical decisions on the environment, for instance. The relentless pursuit of personal gain without considering the consequences has brought us to a critical point. The ego, if left unbridled, can blind us to the interconnectedness of our actions with the well-being of the planet and all its inhabitants. It's time to recognize the negative influence of the ego on both a personal and global scale. But it's not all doom and gloom. History provides us with glimmers of hope, stories of leaders who chose a different path, leaders who hold ego death and prioritize the greater good over personal desires. Take a moment to reflect on those instances when societies experienced positive shifts due to leaders putting their egos aside. Humility, collaboration, and a genuine concern for others. These qualities, stemming from a form of ego death, have been catalysts for positive change. From Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent resistance to Nelson Mandela's fight against apartheid, history is replete with examples of leaders who chose the path of ego dissolution for the greater good. These leaders understood that a collective ego death could pave the way for a more just and harmonious society. As we explore these historical perspectives, let's ponder on the potential impact of such selflessness on our present and future. The threads of history weave a narrative that suggests ego death isn't just an abstract concept, but a tangible force that can transform societies. Now let's shift our focus from history to the realm of science and psychology. What do the experts say about ego and its impact on our well-being? Neuroscience tells us that our sense of self, our ego, is intricately linked to our mental health. Studies suggest that an inflated ego can lead to stress, anxiety, and a diminished overall sense of happiness. It's fascinating to explore how our brain's intricate mechanisms play a role in shaping our perceptions and behaviors. By understanding the science behind ego, we gain insights into the potential benefits of ego death. Psychology also supports the idea that shedding the ego can lead to positive transformations. Therapeutic approaches often encourage individuals to let go of self-centered thoughts and embrace a more interconnected view of the world. The journey toward ego death, even on a personal level, is seen as a path to self-discovery and improved mental health. As we navigate through the scientific landscape, remember that ego death isn't just a philosophical concept. It has roots in the very fabric of our brain and psyche. Our exploration wouldn't be complete without delving into the spiritual and philosophical realms. Across various traditions, there's a common thread advocating for ego death as a gateway to enlightenment. From Eastern philosophies like Buddhism to Western mystical traditions, the message is clear. Transcending the ego leads to a higher state of consciousness. It's intriguing to note the parallels between these diverse belief systems, all pointing toward the transformative power of letting go of the ego. These traditions teach us that ego death isn't about erasing individuality, but about understanding our interconnectedness with all of existence. Whether through meditation, prayer, or contemplation, these practices aim to dissolve the barriers created by the ego, fostering a sense of unity and compassion. As we explore these spiritual and philosophical views, consider how they align with our understanding of ego death and its potential to bring about positive change in our lives and the world at large. Having glimpsed into the scientific, historical, and spiritual dimensions of ego death, let's now bring it closer to home into our daily lives. How can we practically incorporate the idea of ego death into our interactions and relationships? It starts with recognizing the moments when our egos take the driver's seat, steering us away from understanding and empathy. By accepting humility, active listening, and a willingness to understand others, we can begin to dissolve the barriers erected by our egos. Consider the impact on personal relationships, from family dynamics to friendships. Imagine a world where conflicts are approached with an open heart rather than a guarded ego. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a tangible shift that each of us can contribute to. Ego death, on an individual level, ripples outward, creating a positive wave of understanding and cooperation in our immediate circles. As we navigate the intricacies of individual ego death, it's crucial to widen our perspective to the collective level. Imagine a world where nations, communities, and individuals collectively undergo ego death, setting aside personal agendas for the greater good. This section explores the potential benefits of a global shift towards humility, cooperation, and empathy. By examining pressing global challenges, we can see how a shared focus on ego dissolution can contribute to finding sustainable solutions. Consider the environmental crisis, a challenge that demands a collective, ego-free response. When nations prioritize the well-being of the planet over individual interests, we pave the way for a harmonious coexistence with nature. Similarly, in addressing issues like poverty and inequality, a collective ego death can lead to policies and initiatives that uplift entire communities rather than benefiting only a select few. By collectively embracing ego death, we lay the groundwork for a more inclusive, compassionate, and sustainable world. The interconnectedness of our actions becomes evident, transcending borders and fostering a sense of global harmony. Let us explore together how this collective ego death can be a driving force for positive change on a grand scale. Yet, it's not always easy to let go of something so ingrained in our identity. Resistance to ego death is a natural response, fueled by fears and misconceptions. The fear of losing individuality or the misconception that ego death means becoming passive, these are hurdles we must address. Understanding that ego death doesn't erase our uniqueness but enhances our connection to the collective can help overcome these barriers. As we bring our exploration to a close, it's essential to recap the key insights we've gathered on this journey. Ego death is not just a philosophical concept, it's a transformative force that spans scientific, historical, spiritual, and everyday dimensions. By understanding and embracing ego death on both individual and collective levels, we unlock the potential for positive change. Reflect on the leaders throughout history who, by experiencing ego death, contributed to societal transformations. Consider the scientific evidence supporting the mental health benefits of letting go of the ego. Connect with the spiritual and philosophical traditions that echo the wisdom of transcending the self. Envision a world where ego death becomes a shared value, guiding our actions towards global harmony. In closing, we encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with ego and consider how the principles of ego death can be integrated into your life. As individuals, we contribute to the collective consciousness, and by embracing humility, empathy, and interconnectedness, we can collectively save the world. Joining us on this enlightening journey towards a brighter and more harmonious future.